a Canadian radio sanctuary podcast.
How is it in Montreal?
It's beautiful.
Is that right?
Yeah, but it's not that warm.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been that warm here either for the past 2 days anyway. We had a glorious week last week. I'm from Montreal. I've been living in Vancouver for 3 years.
Uh-huh. Oh, you're from Montreal?
Yeah. I think I know some people who know both of you. I've never met you. Does Robbie Preston ring a bell?
Robbie Presner.
Presner. Bob Presner.
Robbie Presner, yeah.
Okay, he's one of them, and the other one is Marvin Siegel.
Marvin Siegel?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah,
he's the nice one. we used to teach together.
I've been on a long time.
Yeah. So, I've always known about you, sort of, from these people.
Right, I've known these people for years and years.
It's rather ironic. And here I'm sitting in Vancouver now, which is my home, and talking to you from yours in Montreal. However, that's life, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get down to the album, okay? You're on a tour. A tour starts when exactly?
It starts in Vancouver on the 16th of May.
Okay, it's nice. It starts out here. And do you head right across the west, or you head south, or what?
We're just going Vancouver, then Victoria, then we go back east, we go to Edmonton and Calgary, Banff, Saskatoon, Winnipeg, then to Toronto and possibly Hamilton or something around Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
We'll finish in Montreal on the 5th of June.
Okay, the new album is Love Over and Over.
That's right.
And of course, there was a 12-inch release to that as well, right?
Yes, there was.
What is the song? The flip side is Babies If I Didn't Have You?
Yes.
But that isn't on the album, is it? Okay, why?
I don't know, actually. It goes that way. Some people said, it's a marketing trick. We didn't have room on the album for that song. We had a couple of songs that we had recorded, but we couldn't fit them all on the album. So we thought because we had used all these tracks, we might as well, since we had cut them, we might as well use them on the flip sides records.
Right. Look at one of the obvious questions, but I just want to ask this off the top, and that is, how did Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits get involved with the album?
Well, we had cut that Love Over and Over in England, and we weren't, the guitar player that we had was having some trouble coming up with some stuff, like our regular guitar player. We have two guitar players we regularly work with, and we don't really like just to call in session people out of the blue to put on a lead somewhere. So when we got back to town, to Montreal, somebody suggested Mark Knopfler, and we like his music a whole lot, and he's a terrific guitar player, and we sent him a tape to see if he was interested, and he was. And so he decided to take a crack at it, and we got on an airplane with the wrong tape. We had to go back and get the right one. And he knew the song, and he put down everything that he put down.
You think you'll work with him again?
No, this is just finishing up this record. Would we work with him again?
Yeah.
Oh, I think if the opportunity came up, sure. He hasn't heard the final. He mixed it a certain way in New York, but we had to remix it for other reasons. So he hasn't heard the final mix of it.
We're just looking at the sleeve, and there's a cut here called Tu vas m'accompagner.
Yes.
Based on You'll Accompany Me by Bob Seger, and you translated it.
That's right.
So you do it en français.
Oh, oui.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah, it's got a Cajun feeling to it. It's got fiddles and accordions, and it doesn't sound at all like Bob Seger's. Well, the melody's the same, but the feeling's a little different.
What do you think's going to happen with that track in Quebec?
I don't know. I don't think, we're not going to put it out as a single here. I think we'll just see what happens. In Quebec, if for instance, like the radio stations have picked up on Love Over and Over, because that's the single that Polygram has sent out. And I think it's too early to tell yet with the album because it's only been out about a week.
Are the French stations playing it too?
But they're playing Love Over and Over.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Interesting.
It's a great song, by the way.
Fun, eh?
It is a good song, yeah.
That's a departure for us, and we really had a lot of fun doing it.
Mm-hmm. Look, over the years, of course you've performed for quite a while, but you've become known because of other people doing your songs, such as Linda Ronstadt and Muldaur, doing your compositions. You're better known by some as songwriters.
Yeah.
Is that one of the areas you've always loved to deal in, or do you often sit back, write a lot of songs, and contribute them to other people, or is it just that they hear your versions, or how does that work often?
Mostly the other way. Mostly, if we have, I mean, we're not terrifically prolific songwriters, but if we have songs, we know some people, like we know Linda, and for instance, Judy Collins just recorded The Sun's Son, which is on our record, but she recorded before we did. People haven't really picked up a whole lot on the albums and taken the songs off the albums. Quite often what they've done is, like, we'll send them just like a rough demo.
Mm-hmm. Was that in the case of the work song, which also appears on your new album?
That's right. That was the case, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny too, some people who might go to your concert and hear the work song by you would say, oh, they're doing the Maria Muldaur song.
Well, this record will set them straight.
Okay. It's a delightful album. Could you just touch on some of the songs? The one track, the first one, in fact, Move Over Moon. Can you tell us a bit of the story behind it?
Well, that was just one day I felt like writing a song, and I hate to say this, but I read my horoscope in the morning, and it actually says that don't talk to strangers. I'm an Aquarian. So I said, that's funny. It says not to talk to... So I felt like writing a song, but I didn't have anything to write about it. I mean, there was nothing horribly terrible going on in my life or anything, but I had some time to write a song, so I just took that line and carried it through to its absurd, just constructed a whole thing around that line.
You've done some work in the past, like Joe Boyd has produced your albums before, but you've done this one this time on your own with Jane as well.
Yeah. Well, when we worked with Joe, I wasn't so bad because he would essentially let us, for the most part, do what we wanted to do, and he would take care of like all the mixing end and the travel arrangements and stuff like that, and help us put the album together. But quite often the choice of since he's not a musician himself, a lot of the choice of musicians, that was our choice, and we could do things like that. So when we produced the French record, we also produced ourselves. So it wasn't that hard for us to do. I mean, we weren't that alien in the studio working with musicians because we'd never really had a boss stand over us who went in and talked to the musicians as opposed to us talking to them.
Who are some of your favorite songwriters and musicians?
Oh, boy.
I don't know him.
Eh?
I said I don't know him.
Oh, boy. Well, but he always was. Gosh. I mean, I like Bob Dylan. I like the Rolling. I like Mick Jagger. I mean, there's so many, that I like songwriters who are kind of musical and yet rather intelligent